Today we are talking about one of the most desired migration destinations in the world, Canada. And this is important because Canada is not just offering jobs. It is offering long-term opportunity, career growth, potential permanent residence, and for many people, an entirely new future. But here is what most people do not realize. The Canadian work visa system is far more strategic and competitive than it looks online. This is not simply about uploading a CV and waiting for magic to happen. Canada operates through structured immigration systems, employer-driven hiring, labor shortages, and point-based selection pathways, which means if you understand how the system actually works in 2026, you massively increase your chances. So in today's video, I'm going to walk you through the complete process of getting a work visa for Canada from anywhere in the world. We are covering the main pathways people use, how employer sponsorship really works, what LMIA actually means, the strongest job sectors, how work permits can lead to permanent residence, the biggest mistakes applicants make, the latest changes affecting foreign workers, and the smartest strategy to position yourself successfully. Stay until the end because there are several critical details most applicants discover far too late. Now, first things first, Canada does not have one single work visa. There are multiple pathways, but most applicants usually enter through one of these major routes: employer-specific work permits, open work permits in special situations, provincial nominee pathways, or permanent resident systems connected to skilled employment. And this is where many people become confused, because they think Canada is one simple immigration process. It is not. It is a network of systems working together. Now let's start with the most common route: employer-sponsored work permits. This is where a Canadian employer offers you a job and supports your work authorization process. But here is the critical detail. Not every employer can easily hire foreign workers. In many cases, employers must prove they genuinely need an overseas worker. And this is where the term LMIA becomes extremely important. LMIA means Labor Market Impact Assessment. This is essentially proof that hiring a foreign worker will not negatively impact the Canadian labor market. And for many jobs, this becomes one of the biggest parts of the process. Now let's simplify the entire pathway. Step 1. Find a legitimate Canadian employer willing to hire you. Step 2. The employer may need to obtain LMIA approval depending on the job category. Step 3. You apply for your work permit. Step 4. Receive approval and relocate to Canada. Simple structure. But inside every stage are details that determine success or failure. Now let's talk about jobs. Canada continues facing labor shortages across multiple sectors. Healthcare is massive. Nurses, caregivers, medical technicians, support workers, construction and skilled trades are huge. Electricians, welders, carpenters, heavy equipment operators, truck drivers remain heavily needed in many provinces. IT and technology continue growing rapidly. Software engineers, cybersecurity specialists, cloud professionals, data analysts, hospitality, agriculture, food production, logistics, and manufacturing also continue hiring internationally in many regions. But here is the reality. Demand changes frequently, and different provinces have different labor needs, which means strategy matters more than assumptions. Now let's talk about provinces. This is one of the most important aspects of Canadian immigration. Canada's provinces often run their own immigration selection systems through provincial nominee programs. That means one province may urgently need workers in a specific field, while another province may not. This creates hidden opportunities for applicants willing to be flexible about location. Now, here is something extremely important. Everybody wants Toronto or Vancouver, but competition there is intense. Meanwhile, smaller provinces and regional areas often have stronger labor shortages and more immigration opportunities. That flexibility can completely change your chances. Now let's talk about employers. One of the biggest mistakes applicants make is applying randomly to companies with no history of hiring foreign workers. Huge mistake. Your focus should be employers who already understand immigration processes and international recruitment, because they are more likely to consider overseas candidates seriously. Now let's talk about CVs. Canadian employers generally prefer clean, professional resumes tailored to the role, not generic applications, not overloaded personal details, and not complicated formatting. Your resume should clearly show experience, skills, achievements, technical abilities, certifications, and measurable value wherever possible. Now let's discuss English and French language ability. Communication matters enormously in Canada, not just for immigration points, but for employability itself. Strong communication skills can dramatically improve interview performance and integration into workplaces. And in some immigration systems, language scores become one of the biggest factors affecting eligibility. Now let's talk about permanent residence, because this is one of the biggest reasons people target Canada. A work permit can become a stepping stone toward permanent residence if structured correctly, especially through systems connected to skilled work experience. And this is where long-term planning becomes critical. Do not think only about entering Canada. Think about where your pathway leads after arrival. That mindset changes everything. Now let's talk about express entry. This is one of Canada's most famous skilled migration systems. It uses a points-based structure to rank candidates based on factors like age, education, work experience, and language ability. But here is what many people misunderstand. A high score alone does not guarantee selection forever. The system changes based on labor priorities and targeted occupations, which means strategy and timing both matter. Now let's discuss category-based selection. Canada has increasingly targeted specific sectors facing shortages: healthcare, trades, transport, technology, French-speaking applicants, and other priority areas, which means occupation choice can heavily influence outcomes. Now let's talk about interviews. Canadian employers generally value professionalism, communication, teamwork, and adaptability, not arrogance. Not overly aggressive self-promotion, just practical competence and reliability. Now let's discuss documentation. This is where many applications fail. Inconsistent work histories, weak employment proof, incorrect job descriptions, missing references, or fake experience documents. Canadian immigration systems verify information carefully, so honesty and consistency matter enormously. Now let's talk about timing. Processing times vary based on visa type, employer processes, country of application, and immigration workload. A clean application moves much smoother than a disorganized one. One missing document can create delays. Now let's discuss costs. Because many applicants underestimate financial preparation, visa fees, biometrics, medical exams, police certificates, flights, accommodation, settlement costs, winter clothing depending on location, emergency savings. Canada is expensive in major cities. Planning matters. Now let's talk about a hidden truth. Canada values practical work experience heavily, especially in trades and technical occupations, which means experienced workers may have stronger opportunities than they realize. Now let's talk about international students. Many people enter Canada through study pathways and later transition into work permits and permanent resident systems. But here is the key. Choosing the wrong course or institution simply for migration purposes can become a very expensive mistake. Your education strategy must align with real labor market demand. Now let's talk about scams. This is critical. Fake immigration consultants, fake employers, fake job offers, fake LMIA promises. These scams exist everywhere online. No legitimate process guarantees approval without proper eligibility and documentation. Always verify carefully before paying money. Now let's discuss work culture. Canadian workplaces usually value punctuality, professionalism, teamwork, and communication. Cultural adaptability matters more than many applicants realize. Now here is another important truth. Canada's immigration system changes regularly. Occupations move on and off priority lists. Point thresholds shift. Work permit policies evolve. Provincial programs change, which means relying on outdated information can seriously hurt your strategy. Now let's talk about the smartest approach in 2026. Instead of randomly applying everywhere, create a focused migration strategy. Choose your target occupation. Target provinces strategically. Research employers already hiring internationally. Improve language ability. Strengthen your resume. And understand the immigration pathway connected to your profession. That alone puts you ahead of most applicants. Now let's talk about mindset. The people who succeed usually do not panic. They do not chase shortcuts. And they do not expect instant results. They prepare consistently, improve strategically, and stay patient. Because migration is not just paperwork, it is positioning. Now let's talk about long-term opportunity. Canada remains one of the strongest countries in the world for migrants seeking permanent settlement opportunities. But success depends heavily on entering through the right pathway and building stability after arrival. Now let's bring everything together. Canada is still one of the world's biggest opportunities for skilled migrants and workers. But it is no longer a casual process where anyone can simply apply blindly and expect success. It is structured, competitive, and increasingly strategic, which means preparation is everything. If you understand the system, target the right pathways, build strong documentation, improve your skills in communication, and stay focused, your chances rise dramatically. And remember this. Thousands of migrants continue successfully entering Canada every year through work permits, skilled pathways, and provincial programs. But the people who succeed are usually the ones who approach the process strategically instead of emotionally. So if Canada is genuinely your goal, start preparing seriously now. Because the global competition for migration opportunities is only becoming more intense. And the earlier you position yourself correctly, the stronger your future can become. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because we cover global migration strategies, visa pathways, work opportunities, and international relocation trends from around the world. And trust me, the future of global migration is changing faster than most people realize.